Hey, deep divers, welcome back to the channel. You ready for like a political plot twist that'll leave you spinning?
Oh, yeah, hit me.
We're talking Tulsi Gabbard ditching the Democrats
Oh.
and jumping headfirst into the Republican pool. We've got this article from the Daily Beast, and it is spilling all the tea. So grab your Scooby gear, because this deep dive is about to get seriously deep.
All right, let's do it.
So first up, can we just talk about how the Daily Beast is calling this the least surprising Republican Party news of a surprise-filled campaign cycle?
Yeah, they kind of have a point there, don't they? I mean, think about it. We've seen some seriously wild stuff lately, and this feels almost expected.
Right. Like, it's not even that shocking.
Exactly. It really speaks volumes about where we are in American politics right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Trump's rally in North Carolina, the crowd is going wild, and bam, Tulsi drops the bombshell.
And the timing is fascinating. It's not just joining any Republican Party, it's joining the Trump-era GOP.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
It's like the MAGA-fied, anti-woke express train that's been barreling through American politics.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you look back at Tulsi's political journey, it's been quite the evolution.
Absolutely. From supporting things like Medicare for All and criminal justice reform to embracing this whole anti-woke rhetoric, it's like a complete 180.
I mean, can we talk about Trump's reaction for a second?
Oh.
Wow, that was a surprise. Like, really? She's been endorsing your candidates for ages. What did he think was going on?
Well, it's vintage Trump. Always got to have that unscripted reality TV vibe going on.
True, true. So the article also points out how Tulsi's views seem to really align with Trump's, especially on foreign policy and his whole stance on Russia.
Yeah, her foreign policy views have always been a bit controversial, to say the least.
Understatement of the year. But then the article throws in this curveball about some liberals freaking out over Kamala Harris praising Dick Cheney.
Now, that is a head-scratcher.
Seriously, talk about an unlikely pair. What's your take on all of this?
Well, you've got Tulsi, whose foreign policy views have always raised eyebrows, and then you've got Harris embracing Cheney, who was like the architect of the Iraq War. It's definitely a lot to unpack.
It's like a political puzzle with all these different pieces that don't quite seem to fit together.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating to analyze.
Okay, so the big question everyone's asking, what does this all mean for Tulsi? Is this a power play? Is she eyeing a bigger role in the GOP? What do you think is going on here?
It's hard to say for sure, but one thing's clear as school. Tulsi's move raises a ton of questions about the future of both parties and, frankly, American politics as a whole.
We're talking about potential shifts in power, changing political landscapes, and maybe even a whole new era in American politics.
It's almost like watching a political thriller unfold in real time.
Right. We're all just trying to figure out what's going to happen next.
Buckle up, deep divers, because this ride is just getting started. It really is like watching a political thriller unfold right in front of us.
I know, right? One minute she's Democrat, the next she's like buddy-buddy with Trump.
It's a wild turn of events, for sure.
But I think the Daily Beast article does a really good job of kind of tracing her political journey. Like, remember back in 2020 when she was running for president?
Oh, yeah.
She was already super critical of the Democratic establishment, even then.
Totally. That's actually a really key piece of the puzzle here. Tulsi was never really afraid to go against the grain, even within her own party.
Right, and it seems like now she's found a new political home that actually aligns with where her views are at now.
Exactly. Even if it means switching sides entirely.
And we're not just talking about like surface level changes either.
Yeah.
The article really highlights how she's gone from supporting progressive things like national health care to now embracing smaller government individual liberty.
It's a pretty big shift.
Huge.
Yeah.
And the article also digs into her criticism of like woke culture.
Oh, yeah. That's become a big theme for her, for sure.
It is. And let's not forget about her alliances with some pretty controversial figures too, like Curry Lake.
Oh, yeah. The election denialism.
Exactly. It's like she's really tapping into a certain segment of voters who feel like they've been left behind.
People who feel like the system isn't working for them.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, because she's a military veteran who served in Iraq.
Right. You don't usually see that background associated with the kind of rhetoric she's using these days.
Definitely adds another layer of complexity to her story.
She really is a fascinating figure to study in terms of American politics. She defies easy categorization.
Totally. And speaking of complicated, let's talk about her stance on Russia.
Yes. Always a lightning rod for controversy.
Well, the Daily Beast article points out that she's basically blaming the West for the whole Ukraine situation, which puts her right in line with Trump's America First and isolationist foreign policy.
Right. Her foreign policy views have always been a point of contention, but they seem to be resonating with a certain part of the Republican base.
The people who are tired of America being involved in everything all the time.
Exactly. Okay, but can we circle back to something you mentioned earlier?
Sure, what's up?
That whole thing about Kamala Harris praising Dick Cheney, like what was that all about?
I know, right? The Daily Beast article brought it up too, and I was like, wait, what?
It's such an odd pairing.
Totally. Especially because Cheney is like a super polarizing figure, especially for Democrats.
Right. It's hard to say for sure what her angle is there. Maybe trying to appeal to more moderate voters?
Maybe. But it's definitely a risky move.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So with all of this going on, where do you think Tulsi goes from here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
She's definitely a force to be reckoned with, though. She's charismatic, articulate, and not afraid to shake things up.
So true. It makes you wonder what impact she'll have on the upcoming elections.
Right. Could she be a kingmaker in the GOP? Or will she alienate more voters than she attracts?
And then there's that crazy thing the Daily Beast mentioned at the end.
What was that?
That she's on the TSA's terror watch list.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I know it sounds insane, right?
She's a military veteran.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know. Maybe she's exaggerating for political effect.
Maybe. But who knows? There could be more to the story.
It's like something straight out of a spy novel.
Totally. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.
I guess so. But for now, one thing's clear. Tulsi Gabbard's move to the GOP has thrown a huge wrench into the world of American politics.
Absolutely. It's a total political earthquake, and the aftershocks are going to be felt for a long time.
And you know what? That's what makes politics so interesting.
It's true. It's never boring, that's for sure.
It's almost like everyone's trying to figure out where they fit in these days.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what even are the rules of the game anymore?
Exactly. And the Daily Beast article kind of touches on this too. You know how Tulsi's really appealing to those folks who feel like the Democratic Party has just left them behind?
Oh, yeah. Like they've abandoned their core values or something.
Right. And she's attracting independents too. Even some Republicans who are like, okay, maybe this is what I've been looking for.
The people who feel like the system is just not working.
Exactly. It's almost as if she's like creating her own lane.
Yeah, outside the traditional two-party system.
For sure. And then you have this whole thing with Kamala Harris praising Dick Cheney. It's like everyone's trying to figure out what the political landscape even looks like these days.
It really highlights how unpredictable things are right now.
Totally. So let's bring it back to our deep drivers. Why should anyone care about Tulsi Gabbard joining the GOP? What does it all mean for, the average person?
Well, it's not just about one politician switching teams,
Right.
It's more like a symptom of this massive shift that's happening in our society, like a whole realignment of what people believe.
Whoa.
And it's going to impact everything, how we govern ourselves, the future of our country. It's huge.
That's like a political earthquake.
Exactly. So pay attention to what's happening, the trends, the alliances, the things people are saying. It's all connected.
Yeah. So deep divers, we've covered a lot of ground today, but we hope this deep dive into Tulsi Gabbard's move to the GOP has given you some serious food for thought. What stood out to you? What questions are still swirling around in your head? Hit that like button, drop a comment below, and let's keep this conversation going.
We love hearing from you guys.
We do. So thanks for joining us on the deep dive. And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. Deep divers.